Yeah, give me a second. I need my hand.
Back to regular news. We've had reports recently that the Black Lives Matter protests are still
Shit, my
ongoing
camera.
throughout throughout the world. It's been 30 days straight in New York, and over a month straight in Minneapolis. Um, Boys, what do you feel about the fact that many other news sources have stopped reporting on these protests, as if the importance
Dickheads.
has died down? No, you can't say that on the news.
Um,
Penis heads.
I,
All that.
I sort of think that the news is all about marketing, and you can't like market the same story for a month. You know, I think that might be the reason why, or it might just be
Well. The
suppressed by
question there is,
you
what
know.
is, what then is the news flawed? Because the point of the news is to give you the news, and by news I mean notices, events, weather, and sport. The protests are a current event; they're constantly happening, and it's unfair of us to take light away from that, as well as many other protests like the marches for feminism. The news completely disregarded Pride Month. It's at that point. When do we decide that the news should be strictly news and not based on what you think would get more views?
I don't think that that's a fair judgment, just because I think that the news, right? What is the news? A newspaper, let's say a newspaper, right? It's just a collection of articles written by journalists. Those journalists are going to write about whatever they want to write about, whatever they think is going to make the best story, and like, so it's not like news just appears out of nowhere. Oh, this is what's happening. Well, boom. No, the people
That is
writing
what it should be.
no, but then who's going to do it? Because you're taking the enjoyment out of people's jobs. Look, half of the fun of being a journalist is, investigating, finding out
But
stuff about stuff and writing about it.
But it shouldn't just be. It shouldn't just be what is most interesting. It's what's happening. It's
Yeah,
literally what is in the name. It's notices, events, weather, and sport. You say what's happening in sport. You say what's happening with the weather. You say what events are happening, and you give notices about what's happening in the world. If we
yeah, but it's
can't,
the idea. It's the idea of keeping it coming, like over and every single newspaper front line. Okay, it needs to be about this protest, but no, because this person doesn't want to write about the same thing every bloody day. Imagine that. That's like working at McDonald's, except you've got a degree first. You just don't want to fucking do that, do you?
there's a lot of people that work in McDonald's with degrees.
Yeah, yeah, but you get my analogy. It's just
I
repetitive.
think you have
It's
in
not supposed to
in
be
yeah,
repetitive.
I think you've got capitalism inside of you if you think there's anything wrong with McDonald's. Shout out to all those essential workers. Essential, you heard it. Essential workers. You wouldn't get your food without them. Shout
Yeah,
out
went to
my
McDonald's for
guy
the
in the
first time
Krusty
today.
Krab,
Got McFlurry.
SpongeBob.
Of course, you got my fry. I'm surprised it
Yeah,
wasn't.
I had £1 on me. Smarties McFlurry, come on. It was nice and well. It wasn't one
Broke
of those
boy.
ones where they don't fill it up. It was actually like
Speaking of protests and essential workers, we've had some.
point 0.9 benders, bro.
We've
And
what was the one? Shut up. Speaking of protests and essential workers, we've had news of a protest at the Krusty Krab from a young man named SpongeBob SquarePants. His words ring out: "The Krusty Krab is unfair. Mr. Krabs is in there, standing at the concession, plotting our oppression." We found out recently that he is the only fry cook in the entire business, which serves over 1,000 people per day. Is this unfair working conditions like that of Amazon, or is it
Oh,
just
get
a family
fucked.
business?
Sorry.
I mean, if he manages, then it's fine. I think that the whole point of work is that you do it for a certain amount of hours and you get paid per hour, and you agree to how much pay you're getting per hour depending on how much you think you're worth and how much they're
I
willing to pay.
think isn't it also based upon how much work you do? Because
I
if
mean,
you're paid for 1 hour of work and you're loading 4 tons of stuff versus 10 hours of work and you play a video game.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, and actually, I agree with you, and I think about that a lot. Like maybe work should be more quota based, or like get paid depending on how much work you do. But then, for example, I had a kind of that Rev thing, right? It was like this kind of caption editing job where you get paid for the amount of captions.
Words you transcribed, yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And it just came to like less, like it came to less than if I were getting paid per hour, because it is quite hard to be efficient, if that makes sense. So it's like there is a line, but would you get paid more if you were getting paid for how much work you do? Well, it's hard to say.
Well, I think there has to be a point between the both of them where, I mean, you see a lot of people who are in high paid jobs, like in the city, who get bonuses for,
Bonuses.
yeah, but you see many workers that are on minimum wage who've maybe put in more work than anyone else there, but because they work a minimum wage job and it's looked down on, like they no matter the work they put in, it's not viewed as viable to give them a bonus, no matter the work they put in.
Yeah, I understand, and I think that, I mean, at the end of the day, it needs to be up to the businesses how much they're gonna pay. Obviously, with the minimum wage, which is very handy, but it needs to be up to the businesses whether they're going to give bonuses, like the way that they're going to structure their contracts, like. And obviously, when you're looking for employment, you look at it and you sign that contract, you make an agreement, like you know what you're getting into, you read those terms and conditions, like when you're, so it's all like.
Then
It's
is Amazon unfair, or are people just complaining
agree.
about their
Look,
work?
There's a certain point where you need a job, so you'd work for less than you're worth if you're not like finding employment elsewhere, and that's well, right.
Slavery.
Well, not slavery, but
Yeah, modern day.
Yeah, borderline slavery.
I mean, I think that it goes back to the actual governing system and their way of work. Because, for example, in China with Jeff Bezos, like, you know, stuff going on there, he just
Jeff Bezos' stuff isn't happening in China.
Basically, no, like
Jeff Bezos' stuff is
He's going
happening
to take off the
in
world.
America.
America.
Yeah.
Amazon's going to take over the
Okay,
world.
let me go through what happened, the structure of the warehouses for Jeff Bezos' for Amazon, right? Workers work for 10 hours a day. They have a 30-minute lunch and two 15-minute breaks. So in total, their break is an hour, right? Most of that time is said to be spent walking from your place in the warehouse to the back room. So it will take 10 minutes to walk both ways. So in reality, their time to eat is 10 minutes, right? And they are not allowed to take toilet breaks. And Amazon often refuses medical notes, which is genuinely illegal. Like, you can't refuse a medical note.
Now, what about if the people understand this but still decide to work for them? If they find it that difficult, then work somewhere else.
Well, then it comes to the issue: is there really anything available for them?
Well, if they can find a job at Amazon, which is better than most places, then
It's not better than most places.
Yeah.
Amazon
oh,
is
it
ranked
is.
No,
They get
Amazon
paid
is
a
ranked
decent
as the
amount.
Maybe
seventh- as-
office
no,
workers in Amazon, people actually doing skilled work, but it's not
Yeah,
warehouse.
people that are stocking boxes and warehouse work, they rank it as I think it's like the 7th worst place
Seventh.
to work.
What about everything above?
Yes. Well, there's like
Yeah.
a million jobs.
Well,
Everything above.
then you can
is-
still find a job
stuff,
somewhere
okay,
else.
we're gonna go for stuff above that. Above that on the list
Or
is
below.
working in sewage.
Why?
Below that is stuff that's like mentally taxing.
You can still find a job somewhere else. It's just if you're
Well,
willing to put in the
obviously
effort.
Are you saying
mean-
that all of these people, there's millions of people that work for Amazon and millions of people that complain? You're saying millions of people should all abandon it and look for new jobs?
Yeah.
In the end,
And
that would have
they'll
a
be able to
massive
find
impact on Amazon, and having a massive impact on Amazon, Amazon is
doesn't.
forced to change, ultimately solving the whole issue. Because if there's a big enough cause and a big enough response, then there will be a big enough consequence,
Yeah, but revolution's
as
unrealistic.
it is. Aye?
Revolution's unrealistic. You're saying, okay, everybody fucking boycott their job. Okay, you think that other people aren't willing to work that job.
Well, exactly.
People don't have jobs, and that job is better than what some people are living through. So people are always going to be there. to
Okay,
take the
hold
job, and
on.
that's what they strive for. That's
All
how
I'm
they
saying
enjoy
is,
their work.
like,
They get the
there
people
can
they
be
Adrian,
change if
Adrian.
people are willing to put in the effort.
No,
One-
maybe was united.
Yeah,
maybe.
if everyone puts in
But
the
that's
effort,
no,
they can
because
change it.
Amazon has many policies against unions,
Well, that's the other thing. If everyone works
and not
together,
just that.
they will be
Okay,
forced to change the whole
not just
policy
that,
of
Adrian.
unions.
Millions of people leave and quit Amazon per year, but because of the need for money in low-income neighborhoods, people are forced to join. So it doesn't affect Amazon because there will always be someone to take their place. There is always someone poorer. That's the thing. There's always someone who needs money more. Some people can afford to quit their job for a few months while looking for new work. Other people can't afford to do that, so they are forced into work.
All I'm saying
It's like
is,
if I offered you 2 jobs, and you knew that as soon as you quit, someone was there to take your place. How effective would it be for you to leave, anyways?
if it was shit, I'd leave instantly.
Okay,
Like,
but when someone takes your place, what is the change? There's no change. It doesn't change for your employer.
I'll be
They still have
happier.
someone.
I don't have to work in a shit place, and therefore I ain't complaining.
But it's not just about the individual. It's unfair on everyone.
Well, then everyone leaves and fucks off to someplace else.
Do you understand real life?
Real life is fucked because people made it fucked.
That
Like,
doesn't
I'm
change.
telling you,
No, you can't offer a
This
solution.
is how
that
this is how
you're
the world
blatantly
works.
saying
I'm
doesn't
gonna
work in real
teach
life.
you. I'm gonna teach all of you, man, how the world fucking works. The world works on this easy, simple basis. If people can't be fucked, yeah, to do shit about shit, yeah, everyone's gonna be fucking miserable. Whether it be working for fucking Amazon, whether it be fucking wars and shit. I'm telling you,
No,
there's
but
only one way to
people
overcome
are
shit like
often-
this
People are
is by
often
doing shit together.
protesting.
If people don't
doesn't
do shit together,
change stuff.
yeah, what will happen?
People
Protests
work
and all
together
that
and
stuff's
protest
good, but
constantly.
that's not enough. That is not enough. There are people still behind protests that say, yeah, I'm supporting them, but I ain't doing shit. Or people that just don't support them at all.
But you're
And
asking
then again,
for,
still
you're
complain
asking
about
for
something.
you're asking for an unrealistic ideal.
It's
you're
not
asking
unrealistic.
For, no, you're asking for literally everyone to work together to try and accomplish one thing.
Pretty much. It's
It
not
is
hard.
it is impossible to unite people.
It isn't.
on-
It's
on-
just if you can put the fucking effort in.
Okay, and also, how about this? Right, Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos, yeah.
Okay, so he's got
Nearly a trillionaire.
189.2 billion USD,
Aye.
right, net worth. Okay, so
Makes $28,000 every 10 seconds.
Yeah,
so 1 million people quit their job working for him.
yeah.
So so he's losing a little bit of money. You think that they can survive without a job longer than his money will last him? He can live his whole life right now without.
And he will never
without
spend that.
Amazon.
Yeah, but no Amazon though.
can live
It doesn't matter. Like,
million
You
lives.
can find a job somewhere else. Like, I know it sounds a bit fucking
No, but for
a
some people,
dickish thing to say,
they
but
actually can't find a job somewhere else.
yeah.
you can.
You're saying it as
You
if
could
every
always
single
find
place is
like
hiring.
another
No,
option.
you can't always find another option. I think you're flaw in your argument is that you're
I'm not
assuming...
flooring my own argument. It's just simple.
No, the flaw in your
Simple.
argument is that you're
What is
assuming
the
everyone
flaw?
can find a job everywhere else, but some people can't.
I'm not assuming, mate. It's
Adrian.
not hard. Yo,
I have a question, right?
go for it. Ask the
Alright,
question.
You have a beautiful wife and 3 beautiful kids, right?
Yeah,
Well,
cheers.
Beautiful
Hopefully,
kids
fingers
is a
crossed.
stretch. We've seen
That
it
is if I
genetics.
make it past, like, you know,
You're the
20.
only working person in that household. If you have a job and will
Yeah.
you go find a better job while risking all 4 of their livelihoods?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Wait, say that one more time.
You're paying for your family.
I'm
Job-
paying for
The
my family.
breadwinner.
And you don't have savings. You don't have savings. You're leaving
Cool.
your job to go find another job. You're going to be in
Yeah.
temporary unemployment. You're not going to have income. You're not going to be able to pay the rent.
You
You're not
can
going to be able to put food on the table. You're going to have to
And
start
the thing is,
hustling.
That's the
say-
thing. You're
That's
already
the stuff.
struggling. If you're in a shit job, you're already struggling. You won't be able. You'll be struggling to pay rent and
Adrian,
shit.
no,
Yo,
Adrian. All right,
tell-
so yeah,
talk to me.
you're saying you'll be struggling to pay rent and you'll be struggling to pay your bills, right?
Yeah.
Which
all
is most
all
people.
it's gonna do is you're gonna struggle a bit more until you find another job.
Okay, but what's the downtime between finding another job? Would you say? How long do you think it would
Depends
take
on how
most
much
people?
effort you put into it.
Okay, no. Say that
Finding another job isn't something like, yeah, I'm gonna stay at home, go through the internet, check something, check the papers every now and then. That's just stupid. If you really want to do something,
What
do
about
something
okay,
about
people that
it.
are at the job center every single day, people that are handing out resumes every single day? How long do you think, on average, it takes to find
Do
a
something
new
more
job?
productive. Don't
That is
just
the most
wait.
productive.
It's not.
No,
It
no,
really
no. I'm saying
isn't.
people that are going out daily
To a
to
job
find work.
centre to
To
ask
find work.
someone else to find them a fucking job.
No,
Find it your
That's the
fucking
fun. No,
self.
you know how
okay. I said they're not. I said they're going to job centers every day, and they're not
Yeah.
just going to job centers. They're also handing out resumes themselves. They're going to interviews. How long do you think it takes people
And
to find
you're
work?
telling me there is no chance that person will find a fucking job? Or
I'm not saying
they
there's
will
no
find
chance.
a
I'm
job
asking
after
you,
like
how
2
long do you think it
years.
takes?
Wait, let me explain to you how
Not
job
that long.
One
If you're
sec.
doing all of that shit, it won't take that long.
Adrian, one sec. So wait, job centers, right?
Job centres,
People,
yeah.
like employers that need employees will put their like requests for their vacancies
Yeah.
and give that to the job center. That's how it
I'm
works.
not saying don't go
So-
to the job centre. I'm just saying
No,
do more.
No, but my point is that if an employer wants an employee, they will tell the job center, and the job center has a big supply of people, a big supply of labor that is not employed. That like one of them people can go and work for this, employer. You find employment through job centers. It makes it easier. The point is, the reason that it's there is so that people can find jobs. Okay. Go
Yeah.
to-
Actually, I feel
all
not
of your
just
time in
that,
a job
right?
center is more productive than going door to door. Not every if they want an employee, they'll put it in the job center. If they don't, they won't. That's how job centers work.
This isn't the age of where people can just turn up and say, "Are you hiring?" Because in most cases that doesn't work. There's how many people are there living in London?
8 million, I think.
There's
8 or 9.
Around
but
about
let me-
there, like 9 or like 10, some shit.
8.982 million.
8.982 million. Let me do some math real quick. For almost 300,000 of those people, if they quit their jobs and went looking for a new job, it
Yeah.
will take them over 3 months to find work. And the people that are quitting their jobs most likely are the people that have the lowest income, right? Or the people that are struggling the most. So for 300,000 people, for them to leave a job for 3 months, for them to not get paid, for them to maybe be on benefits, which is a stretch because a lot of people don't want to go on benefits, or a lot of people can't actually go on benefits. So we'll say that narrows it down to 200,000. For 200,000 people, they will have no money for 3 months of their lives while they look for a new job. At that point in their life, if you're already at low income, what's most likely is you have debts that will pile up, you have rent, you have all of this stuff. You don't. The amount of people that own a home in London is minuscule, and it doesn't make sense feasibly. It's not feasibly possible for them to leave their job for 3 months and come back and be in the same position to keep working. At that point, they would have been some of them will be out of food.
You still find a job while you're working.
And find a job while you're working.
To be fair, finding a job while you're still the Amazon workers could look for other jobs while they're working. There's nothing wrong with that. But
that's
trading, but yeah, they could.
That's why a lot of people who work for Amazon. The reason they stay at Amazon is because they work multiple jobs. So your argument of saying everyone should quit if they don't like their job, it falls through, because if people have to work multiple jobs just to provide for themselves in certain situations, quitting one job, as much as they may hate their work, people go to work out of necessity. If a lot of people had the option, I don't think as many people would work, but people need the money, right? They need the support that comes from having a job.
Statistically, all those people that work multiple jobs are already suffering debt. Yeah. because they need to pay off
Everyone's
those.
suffering.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
Even people that
Everyone's
don't work
suffering.
multiple jobs, like
Cool.
Even the banks that have our debt is
they
suffering
have debt.
from someone else.
So you're telling me you're trying to work off a fucking debt? Yeah, that's gonna stick with you,
Bro, your
even
main
through that
concern
shitty job.
of that debt is staying alive.
But Adrian, your point on debt doesn't stand because most people die without ever paying off their mortgage.
Mate, I
Most people
don't
take
get
second
this.
and third
If you,
mortgages.
let me ask all you man a question. Would you rather work a shit job? Yeah, that pays decent amount. Yeah.
Hold on,
or work
what
in a job.
situation are you in?
What do
like,
you mean? What
financially?
situation?
What, as in, if I'm at a position where I could quit my job and wait 3 months, and I could
There's no
still
such
afford
thing.
to come back.
I think
Nah,
he's
mate,
saying,
listen.
Would you rather work?
Whether
Okay, fine.
whether you have a job, yeah, or not, yeah, you're still gonna have to wait 3 months. You don't get instantly fucking hired for a job. They take you look against other fucking employees, which might take longer than 3 months. So saying that just because you don't have the financial means to find another job within those 3 fucking months doesn't make sense.
No,
Because
what I'm
either
saying
way,
is, am I at a
financial
position?
position, good or bad, you're still gonna have to fucking wait 3 months. Or more than 3 months to find another job.
Continue your question.
What question?
I can simplify this question for you. Would you rather be a dustbin man or a video game tester?
Not really, but fair enough.
Dustbin man.
Because dustbin man get paid a decent amount, but it's not a very fun job. And video game tester doesn't get paid very much, but it's a fun job. Is that not
They
what
get
you
paid
are?
quite a bit more than fucking.
Yeah,
You
but
think
the money
video
is
game
few and far
test-
between.
You think people that test video games, not create them, that test them,
No, they do get quite a bit of money. The
They-
issue for
yeah.
the issue for people that are video game testers is they will not always
yeah, I
have
was going
game
to say
tests.
charity worker, but nobody wants to fucking be. Imagine being a charity worker was fun, but you don't get paid that much. Would you rather be that or a bin man?
Say that again?
Would you rather be a charity worker or a bin man?
So the
As in,
conditions
you're
are
not
better as a charity
working
worker,
for
but you're getting less money.
You work for a
I'll
charity.
happily work for fucking charity. I'm gonna
I'll be a bin man.
fucking wake up every fucking morning, go into some fucking place where I know I'm gonna feel like shit. That will have psychological, mental fucking impacts on you.
Yeah,
A
but
shit
having
job is more
no,
likely to kill you
say that,
fucking
but
further
having
down on the line than fucking having a job that makes
low
you happy.
income jobs. No, having low income jobs is statistically shown to increase depression and anxiety.
Yeah, and
So
And
is
stress.
working at a shit job.
Adrian, listen
You
to this.
could-
Being a bin man isn't that you can go into it with a positive mindset. You can say, "Look, okay, calm. I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna go see my mates afterwards. You know, because I got a bit of money there.
And you
Buy
work
some
with
drinks in the
friends as well.
club. Opening on 12th of
Work
August.
in a truck with
Yeah.
your friends as well. Like it's calm. Imagine just like chilling. It's like, oh,
Work in a fucking office with your friends. You get paid more in an office, but still you can feel like shit.
Actually, a lot of bin men make more money than people that work in offices.
Exactly.
yeah, because it's got quite a low supply for the job because no one wants to do it. I think.
I'm still saying, like, I'd rather work a job where I'm happy than fucking.
That is the same thing for everyone. Most people that are working shit jobs don't want to work that job
Then why fucking work it in the
because
first place?
it's not about choice. It's the
It is a
illusion of choice. No,
this is
Adrian,
what I mean.
it's
Putting the fucking.
no,
Do you know what?
hold on, let me speak. It's the illusion of
Aye,
choice,
aye,
right?
aye.
The illusion of choice, how it works economically, is that you are shown to be given 3 different options,
Mm.
right? You're shown to be given 3 different options. One of them's good, one of them's bad, one of them's in the middle, right?
Mm.
But if you're already working at the bad place,
Mm.
that you think you have the choice to switch to the good place and
Which
or
you do.
switch to the decent place.
Mm.
But in reality, everyone at the good place, they may be having fun, but because of their low funds, they are in the same mental space as you. They don't like their job because as fun as it is, they're not making money from it. It's not financially viable.
I don't get what you're saying.
It's like people have a choice in the sense that they can quit their job, right? That's a choice they can make. But quitting their job isn't an option if they wish to survive.
Mm.
Because there's some people that just don't like working in traditional work, right? Some people don't
Okay.
want to work in an office. They don't want to work in a supermarket. They don't want to do any of that.
Cool.
Can they quit their job? No, because they have to live. It's the illusion of choice.
Taking this back to the Jeff Bezos thing. So you're telling me you tell all these people that are complaining, continue working this job that you constantly feel like shit, continue complaining, which ultimately gets you nowhere, yeah, and feel like shit for the rest of your life. Don't try for something better.
What I'm saying is okay. What I'm saying is it's not on the fault of the workers. What Jeff Bezos has done, right? With his option, where he said if someone quits, we replace them, right? That's the policy that they have in Amazon. They don't care for their workers on an individual level. Obviously,
Like every other job.
Yeah, well, no, because
Every
there's
other
some
job,
places,
if you quit, they're gonna
the
replace
severance
you.
pay is lower for Amazon than most places. That's what I'm
Severance
saying. It's
pay
not,
or
I'm not
not,
just talking
you're
about
still gonna get
Adrian. I'm not just talking
replaced.
about replacement. I'm talking about you genuinely like the amount of care for the work. Obviously, you can tell they don't care for the workers because they don't let you have pee breaks. These man have to pee in bottles at your work. That's what I mean when I say they don't care for their workers. Right? What I'm saying is he's placed the fault on the workers by saying if you don't like it, leave. But in reality, the fault is on him for not raising the wage, for not making working conditions better. Because what he's said is what we're doing is all legally okay, but is it ethically okay? The fault shouldn't be on workers in that situation. They
I'm not
shouldn't
blaming
have
the
to say.
workers.
They shouldn't have to say, "Oh, I have to pee in a bottle." I can get people cursing at me because I'm a dustbin collector.
I'm not blaming the workers.
I should face abuse or pee in a bowl. It shouldn't. The fault shouldn't be, oh, you should quit your job if you really hate it that bad. It should be, you shouldn't be forced to work in a place like that just because of your financial situation.
Cool. So if it's shit, then do something about it. This is what I mean. You can't expect like shit to change by not doing anything about it. Complaining, cool. Be more active. Do something about it. Don't just fucking go on
No, but
Twitter or some shit and
when I
say,
say complaining, like if it's not just complaining, it's people that protest and stuff like that.
mm,
People that are like asking for government legislation so that America puts more tax on the rich. So that America taxes big businesses like Amazon more, so that if you're on benefits or something like that, or welfare as they call it in America, it's not so much of an issue for you, and you could still live your life without having to worry about, I don't know, your kids being taken away because you can't pay the rent because you quit your job at Amazon.
but that's the thing. It's linked. Like in the end, like you can't really expect nothing to change without doing anything.
But
That's
if you do something and someone else doesn't, then nothing's going to change.
Well, that's where the issue is. Everyone,
No, the
like I
issue
said
is
at the
that Amazon
beginning,
doesn't pay their taxes and they should treat their workers better.
Amazon doesn't pay its taxes because no one's doing anything to make them pay their fucking taxes. It's a simple fucking. If no one,
That's not simple though.
it is simple.
Forcing
Someone
a
will
big
do
business to pay
something
their
if you
taxes
fucking
isn't the
force them to do
No,
shit.
because they're getting tax cuts from the government. It goes to the top. It's not just saying, look, because I can stand outside Amazon with 400,000 people and say, yo, pay your taxes. But if there's no one above us, like if there's no one above the individuals that are there, if there's no governing body that actually cares about the people, like, if America's government doesn't care about Amazon not paying its taxes, but we care about Amazon not paying its taxes, what's the likelihood of that situation?
It all
Amazon
goes
just
back
not
to
paying
that
its
thing that
taxes.
everyone needs to be fucking productive and do some shit about it. Because that's the thing. I know that people fucking
Is
Boris Johnson
protesting
doesn't care
productive
about
then?
shit. Huh?
Would you say protesting is productive then?
If it's done well, it can
What do
be
you mean by
productive.
done well?
Done well as in not just fucking, standing around saying, "Oh, we want change." Because in the end, you can say that for every fucking day and nothing will happen.
I think that the main thing that makes a protest good is that it's got a strong message. Like everybody there knows what they want from the protest. Everybody knows like what needs to change, and also you need numbers.
So
People
then,
need the same fucking
then
mentality.
can we talk about then what is the issue with protests versus riots?
Or sometimes
Is there an issue with riots?
the sad truth is sometimes you have to get violent.
Wait,
Sometimes you have to show a bit of force.
What did you say, John?
is Pride March a protest? Or was it just
Pride March
Just
and
a
Parade
march.
is now in memory of the original riots that happened at Stonewall. So going back, I don't actually remember the date of this, but what happened was there was a bar in New York, a gay bar run by Marsha P. Johnson, who was a black trans woman, right?
Mad
And
respect for the
that
woman.
bar was shot up by police. And Marsha P. Johnson I think, was killed in crossfire. It was shot up by police. It was half burnt, right? And people in the community said, "We're not having this," and they rioted. And that is when legislation started to change for gay individuals in America, for the LGBTQ plus community.
In that example, the riots actually did stuff, so maybe rioting is the only way you can
I
get.
feel like in every example,
That's what
riots
I'm
have done
saying.
stuff. I don't know an
Violence
example where peaceful
sometimes is
protests
the
have
way.
worked.
Like there was the like
Right.
riots, I swear, in history. Like, the
Punches?
1980s, there was like coal mine riots and shit. Did that work?
Fucking the French Revolution. That was
That
one
was a
big
violent
fucking
protest.
riot, mate.
I don't think there's been a peaceful protest that works, because with the peaceful protest, there's always the option to ignore people.
Yeah.
And that's why people need to be more productive.
Yeah, but it's the
Pick
idea
up a fucking
that
bat, pick up a
people-
fucking shield, go up to your fucking, I don't know, local MP if they're a dickhead, and just start breaking everything, mate. Show them who fucking really owns the fucking place. It's about the people, not the one single fucking person that is supposed to look after us. I need to write a book on anarchy and shit, mate.
That the best way to make change is actually like succeed in life and get to a point where you can actually make change like by yourself. It might be the most effective
Nah,
way.
it's not.
By
It-
yourself, you will never get
Because
anything
you
done.
can never actually
Oh,
no.
like-
But with government, you can be the president, but you can't make change by yourself.
President is controlled by a body of fucking governors or some shit.
A million people, basically.
Like the highest power in the UK technically is the Queen, but even
He gets controlled by the fucking government, mate.
even she cannot make decisions because of how they would affect politics. So there's no one person that can just say this is
No,
happening.
but like get to a point where you can actually influence change from like the higher up position.
I mean,
See, you can influence change, but that's
yeah,
different from
influence doesn't mean
actually
it will
making
happen.
change.
Obama came with Medicare for all, where he was trying to get universal health care for everyone, but Medicare for all has been Medicare for 2 million people, pretty much. It's been for like select states, because if there's other people in the government that disagree with you, you may be the prime minister, you may be the president, but if other people disagree with you, it's never going to go through. Which is why I think riots are technically the most effective form of protest.
Okay,
Because they're productive.
that's fair enough. And I think that earlier I was going to say something that peaceful protest, like, there's always a threat that they'll turn into riots if they're ignored, and that's why they're effective. Because it's a mass group of, like, a mass gathering of people. They have power, right? Like, in some form. But I was also going to say that some riots, like, just silly. Like, for example, do you remember 2012 or
2011 riots, those weren't silly.
But the thing I wanted to say about that is, right, sometimes riots or protests, they have a clear message. They have like a true, like a purpose.
Yeah.
And sometimes, for example, that one, it was sparked by an individual that works for the government.
No, what 2011 riots in the UK?
Yeah, it was a police
2011 riots were because of the shooting of Mark Duggan.
Exactly, right, by a police officer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that individual police officer works for the government. It's not, he doesn't represent the government. This individual did this thing, and then everybody
Well,
decided
okay,
to
I'll
go
say it
rush.
though, with the police it's very different, because with the police it's about the systems that are in place. It's like the 1312 or ACAB, or where all cops are bastards. It's like that thing.
But do you think that becoming a police officer makes you racist, or
Oh, no, it's not.
become a police officer?
That's not the point of all cops are bastards though.
No, my point is,
Yeah,
that do you think that, like, the police
No,
are
yeah.
influencing people to become racist?
I'm
or
not
they're
saying.
just-
I don't think the police make people racist. I think you could be a tolerant person and work within the police force, but working within the police force, you're working under a system that is already geared towards racism. Like it's the systems are set in place, and by working under the police force, you operate under the same ideals that they do. So like you can be all that. It's like it goes back to all cops are bastards. Okay, so like when it comes to all cops are bastards, bastards in that sense is to say that they operate under a bastardized system and the system is corrupt. And by working under that system, what you have done is enforced it and shown that this system is the system that you may not you. Okay, I don't think every single police officer goes out in their head like I hate black people or anything like that. But I think by working under a system that is known for attacking black people and the black community, you are showing that this is good because you're adding more fuel to the fire. It's like
What I wanted to say is that if a police officer's racist, they were racist before they joined the police force.
Yeah, which is why the issue is that the system's corrupt, isn't it?
But how is the system corrupt? The individuals within
the system's corrupt because it doesn't have the means to take out these people. Yeah, it's like how training is only like 1,000 hours in certain states in America.
Like, you can't really find that out in a person until they do something.
You don't know.
You can't scan them and find they're racist. Like, it happens when they do something.
Well, not just that, but it's not just about racism in the police force. There's other things like how quick officers are to shoot people.
Yeah, and also corruption, bribery. Corruption.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like there's no training for there is training, but there's not enough training for conflict de-escalation. What many police officers, they may not be taught this in the academy, but what they're told on their first official day on the job for a lot of people is everyone out there hates us. We as the police have to stick together because if we don't, then everyone out there that hates us and thinks that we're bad people will be able to take us down. So as soon as you become a police officer, what you have to do is you have to have trust in your badge, trust in your fellow officers, and trust in your weapon. Because in a lot of police officers' eyes, those are the only things that are keeping them as police officers safe. So when it comes to like, if there's a racist cop that is your partner, if you report him, what it looks like to a lot of other police officers is that you're working against the force itself. So it's not necessarily that I don't think there are people out there that actually believe that every single cop is a bad person or that every single police officer is a racist or anything like that.
I mean,
but I think
do.
But I think what the message, I mean, it's about how it's been like presented in the media, where it's like people protesting and like shouting in the face of police officers and stuff like that. Whereas, I mean, obviously the dream would be to have a conversation like this, like where you sit down and you talk about your ideals and stuff with police officers, but you're not given that option because at every single protest against police or for like Black Lives Matter, it's escalated into violence by more often than not by the police. So the message has gotten across. It's just because as soon as it turns into a violent protest from peaceful protest, the thing that's going to go on the news to catch headlines is peaceful protest turns violent or rioting happening.
I mean, but that happens because each side feels a threat. Well, the police, as you're saying, feel a threat from the regular people. So they're the enemies.
I feel like the big issue with police though is a lot of people are defending it by saying, how would you like to feel to get like shouted at your job every day, and like wouldn't you feel threatened, like wouldn't you feel the need to like strike back? But I think if you're at your job and you're getting shouted at and you act on the aggression to hit someone to break up a protest, I don't think you should be a police officer.
But then what's that person supposed to do?
Because the point of the police isn't to.
You think that person should just be unemployed then?
That's what I'm saying. It's conflict de-escalation. Well, no, because you say it's like it's people that work in like the service industry get shouted at and stuff all the time. Like if you've worked in retail, it's like the whole Karen thing where someone comes into the store and they will treat you like shit. Everyone knows it. Like I didn't even work in like I worked in a charity store for like a month. I was only there on like weekends and a couple of days like in the week for part-time work, and there would be people that would come in like every single day, and for stuff that is completely out of your control, they shout at you and all that. But for me, if I was to respond back, I would get fired. If a police officer responds back, more times than not, that would be in a violent way, and they would be left on the force to do that same action again, or they get suspended with pay. If you're going to hold people in the service industry more accountable for lashing out than police officers, then there's an issue there, isn't it?
Sure.
Mm.
But it's just different like levels to it. Like I don't know. Like
Again,
there's like no person who's gonna be completely calm all the time. Like it's not realistic.
Oh no, we're not expecting police officers to be completely calm all the time, but I think if your first instinct is to grab your gun or to grab your weapon, that's a bad sign.
yeah, I mean, people need to know what they need to, like, people need to know what job is good for them in terms of, I would never get a job where I have to interact with people in a certain kind of way, because if they piss me off, I'm just going to tell them to shut the fuck up and, like, get the fuck out of my whatever, you know. Like,
That's every job, Joe. That's every job you have to deal with people there.
Yeah, so
but it's a bit different, though, because, like, for example, chances I'm going to end up in an office job, right, being a programmer. Or like a video game designer or whatever.
Oh, bin man, it pays better.
And then so like I'm working with a team, obviously, but like there's not just random people coming in, like clients or
but if you work with clients, there's always
like
yeah.
But the point is, like, your focus on your main part of your job isn't talking to people.
My main part of my job at the charity store, right, I was a volunteer, so I wasn't even working behind the register. I didn't handle pricing. I volunteered there. I came in, I put stuff on shelves, I put the tags on clothes, and if someone needed me to get something from a high shelf, I'd get the step stool. But in certain situations, you don't have the choice to not talk to a customer. I couldn't say to a customer that was like, alright. So there was a white shirt like this, but it was like some big brand. So it was like £20 because originally it was £50 and it's a charity store. This one was like, this is a charity store, how can you be selling stuff for £20? I was like, I don't do the price, and it's store policy, this is the price that's been set. Still shouting. For me at that point, I had said, look, I don't even have to talk to you or something like that. That isn't, it's not my choice whoever I have to talk to, because she's going to keep talking to me no matter what. And if I have to de-escalate that conflict by trying to calm her down, by trying to help her out in some sort of way. If the police can't do that with other situations, they're not ready to be police.
Yeah, exactly. You need to be able to deal with those situations, but that comes down to training as well.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, more training means more money, you know. So
More
Also,
money means.
I think the motto for this episode is that the world can't be perfect. Just
No, yeah, definitely not.
systems in place.
But we could get a hell of a lot better.
There's always improvement to be made, but
Jeff Bezos could literally end world hunger.
That's why
And
we
the war in
rise up,
Yemen.
stand together, and make a change.
yeah, but even then, you wouldn't be able to live in a perfect world. There's always problems.
It will make it a hell of a
I
lot
think
better.
there's
but
certain people with too much money.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
If you could end world hunger with your money, you gotta help us out somehow.
true. But anyway,
Like,
should we
this
wrap
has
up?
been the 4 out of 5 Guys podcast news section.
Actually,
Your regularly
I think we should make it 2 episodes. Like, because one episode was very different to the other episode, realistically. Like, when we start talking about,
first was a bit of a skip. This is
I think we should
this
release
is
2 episodes.
genuine
First
politics.
episode should
But to be
be-
fair, this second part was a bit of an argument rather than a discussion.
Oh no, this was
Yeah, it was good.
This was more of a discussion. This was a debate.
It's kind of like a lesson where we're trying to teach Adrian the way the world works. But
Mate, the way the world works is fucked.
Adrian is his
Yeah, which is why you
his
can't
own
go for a
man.
calm solution.
Adrian's his own man.
I'm not saying go for a calm
Trying to
solution. I'm
open
just saying
things.
stand up
He's
together.
on the Steam webpage.
I'm not on the Steam webpage.
He's on the Steam
He's seen his
store.
sunglasses. What he's
I'm
doing.
not on the Steam webpage, mate.
Wait, so we closed out the thing.
This has been the 4 Hour Fight, guys. If you would like any help on any of the topics we spoke about today, message Joseph Honus on Instagram. Don't even say your topic, just say I don't agree with you, and then tell him off for not making last week's thumbnail.
I sent it to John.
Your regularly scheduled programming
Let's go check
should
your
be
school
returning
email.
now.
They said
I said school email. You think I check?
that's the only thing they let me send it on because I did
We're
it
not
on
a real-
PowerPoint. I
we're
did it
not a
on
real
PowerPoint,
business.
bro. Did it on
We're
PowerPoint.
not a real business.
We're getting there.
We'll see you guys later.
Much
Check out,
love.
share
Take
our
care.
stuff, like it, comment, subscribe. That was
Kisses.
the worst kiss sound of all time.